Hey, welcome everyone to my YouTube channel that I'm probably going to start posting more YouTube videos here often because I guess I have time these days to actually do stuff and provide updates on my life and stuff. Things have been good. It's just been a little busy. Just got finished a really big project this week and uh, it's kind of looking a little apocalyptic outside because of the haze and all the smoke that came from California or something. So, but it's all right. It's all right. It's a Saturday. It's a nice weekend and it's pretty chill, and we're just gonna have some fun today. So today, well, I have stream readers up, but that's just because I'm farming, for chests and stuff, and that's fine. But really, today we're gonna do something special, and that's I'm gonna do the MBTI from 16personalities.com, and this is a free test. You can just take it anytime, and it's I've taken this before a couple of times when I was younger, and I thought it would just be really interesting to show you not just like the result of my test, but also what I'm thinking in my head as I do these questions. And so, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you guys want to share what your results are, or specifically what kind of questions you answer differently and why. We can talk through those kind of things. And so, yeah, I haven't taken this in a while, but it will probably be pretty fast. It says it takes less than 12 minutes, and answer honestly, even if you don't like the answer. Yep. Just be truthful and try not to leave any neutral answers. I'll try my best. Some questions are going to be tough, but I'll try my best to keep it, really polar so we get a good result. Alright. Here we go. First question. You enjoy vibrant social disagree. Straight up disagree. I hate parties. So, you often spend time exploring unrealistic yet intriguing. Strongly agree. Of course, my entire existence is based on nonsense ideas. Your travel plans are more likely to look like a rough list of ideas rather than a detailed itinerary. Disagree. My travel itinerary is pretty intense. Everything from the date to the time to the location. It's almost down to the hour sometimes, and always looking out for sales and discounts and stuff like that. And we even I remember for one of the road trips we did, we actually made a map and plotted every single hotel that where we were gonna stay in, every single how much time it took for that drive and everything. It was just down to the T. So it keeps us prepared and feeling safe. I guess. Yeah, we definitely have I definitely tend to like a itinerary when I travel, a really detailed one. You often think about what you should have said in a conversation long after it has taken place. Kind of agree, I guess. Mostly I'll just say agree because I feel like I'm not a very good speaker, and I'm always trying to improve on how I and what I say things, or how I say things to people, or my tone and things like that. So I tend to think about it a while. Maybe I should have said something differently. Maybe it would have been better to say it that way. If your friend is sad about something, your first instinct is to support them emotionally, not try to solve their problem. Yeah, totally agree. It's their problem, not yours. So they have to solve it, not you. Unless they're specifically asking you to solve for the problem, then maybe you can help them out. But otherwise, support them emotionally. That's the most important thing, I think. People can rarely upset you. This is true on the most part. I'm very forgiving and understanding, so people who do upset me really upset me. So it's just you don't upset me at all, or you're just completely upsetting. You often rely on other people to be the ones to start a conversation. Yes, totally agree. I'm terrible at keeping conversation smooth and flowing. I can't do that. So you have to take the wheel on that one. If you have to temporarily put your plans on hold, you make sure it's your top priority to get back. Yeah, I hate getting sidetracked on things. If I wanted to get things done, I like to finish a project first before starting a new one. like in my line of work, it's pretty hard because like we jump on projects all the time and it's just a mess. I hate like having to go back and forth different small projects and like trying to piece everything together, and this is unfinished while this is still unfinished. I just like completing things in like batches and chunks. Like this is done, I don't see anymore. I don't like to like, multitask and like keep going back and forth between two different projects, and just it's just a mess. Makes me lose a lot of focus and stuff like that. You rarely worry if you made a good impression on someone you met. Disagree. I always worry if I made a good impression. I always worry. I always second guess myself, and I always doubt, and I always think of ways that I could improve. And I always doubt that, yeah. I always think people see me as weird and stuff, so yeah, strong disagree on that. It will be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored. Disagree. I'm spending my weekend right now not feeling bored because I'm making this video. And yeah, just completely no. Like, hermit life is like my life. You are more of a detail-oriented person than a big picture person. Disagree. I hate the details and stuff. I'm very bad at like noticing small, minute differences and nitpicky things like that. I'm more of a big picture, like to see big connections and things like that. So, yeah, I'm very bad at details, basically. Don't tell that to my employer. You are very affectionate to people. Yeah, of course, super affectionate. When I love people, I love people. You have a careful and methodical approach to life. Yes, there's a method to my madness all the time. You are still bothered by the mistakes that you made. Many regrets. I'm always bothered by mistakes I made a long time ago. But you just gotta move on. Sometimes. Like I would say I've moved on, but I'm definitely still bothered by them. Like it still haunts me. I still think about them. It's not like I completely forget about them. At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found farther away from the action. Yeah, for sure. I hate parties. I told you that already. It's just not my thing. There's this story because I used to be in roommates back in college with a bunch of friends who really love parties, and they would throw parties in my apartment in the living room, and I would literally be asleep in the next room over in my bedroom, and it would just be like loud party music going on. I would just be fast asleep, and my friends can tell you that because they were there, and they can vouch for the fact that I was actually asleep when they were raving. So parties are just not my thing. You often find it. I later woke up after the party was over, and then helped to clean up the mess. And in fact, I woke up not because of the loud noise. I woke up because of the lack of noise. Because there was this subtle change. Suddenly there was a lot of noise. Suddenly there wasn't any noise, and so that's what woke me up. It's very weird that night. I still remember it very fondly because I helped to clean up a lot of puke on my carpet. Anyway, you often find it difficult to relate to people who let their emotions guide them. Disagree. Like, I think it's really easy to read people's emotions for me. It's really hard to think what people are thinking for me, to know what people are thinking, but it's really easy to know what they're feeling. I think feelings come out really easily, and I can pick up on that really easily. When looking for movie blogs, you can spend ages browsing the catalog. Disagree. I make decisions typically really fast. If there's no movie I like to watch, well, I can spend ages browsing the catalog if there's no movie that I'd like to watch, and then I just don't watch anything. But when it comes to like, if there are a lot of choices, I can pick one really fast, even if I like all of them. I'll just put them all on the list and watch it next time if I want. You can stay calm under a lot of pressure. Agree. Yeah, I can. I'm like the most calm person you can ever meet. Like, I think there was. Like, I feel like I eat pressure, so like pressure kind of feeds and motivates me to get things done. In that sense, so a lot of people like feel like pressure can like, especially when you, and this really comes out when I take exams and I take tests. Like, I'm really good at them, and I feel like that's because like the time pressure just makes my brain like work better. Like, I can think better, faster, more accurately when I'm pressured to do it. So On the flip side, when I'm not pressured, I tend to do things really poorly and make bad decisions and things like that. So pressure is generally a good thing for me. When in a group of people you don't know, you have no problem jumping right into their conversation. Disagree, strong. I just remember the other night, CG. We had a CG and there were just people talking. It's just really hard for me to come into a conversation where people are already engaged in a topic, especially if that's not a topic that I'm particularly interested in. So, and that tends to happen a lot. I'm typically not interested in a lot of things that people talk about, honestly. A lot of things in this world do not interest me one bit. And I have no idea why people are interested in that. When you sleep, your dreams tend to be bizarre. Yeah, totally. Like, I've always wanted to keep a list of dreams that I have, and like, because they're always really okay. I can remember a couple of dreams. So I have a couple of recurring dreams, and they're all really fantastical. There's one where I'm in a bus, and then I'm kind of like trying to, stand on the bus without holding on to anything, just for fun, like pretend I'm snowboarding or surfing or something, and then the bus turns into a roller coaster, and suddenly I have to get into my seat, and then I like it goes 90 degrees up, and like stuff like that. And other dreams are like I'm in a volcano, but it's also a maze, and I'm kind of like an adventurer trying to figure out the way out. Things like my dreams are really weird. Okay, so to say the least. And there was this other dream I had recently where I felt, I think I was like in a Minecraft world, and then I don't even play Minecraft. I just am exposed to it by watching streams and things like that. And my brother plays it a lot. But anyway, and we're building this castle, and the way to build it is you gotta in Minecraft you kind of have to put a block, and then you step on it, and then you put another block, and you step on it, and you kind of go up that way. And so I think me and my friends had built this huge castle, and then there was this elevator that takes us from one place to another. And I just remember so clearly the elevator was moving too fast, and it was a problem because I'm in that dream and I'm in that world. And so when the elevator is moving too fast, I felt like I was free falling when I was taking the elevator down from like the 50th floor or something. And so we had to fix the speed of the elevator and things like. Anyway, very weird. Basically, my dreams are very weird. In your opinion, it is sometimes okay to step on. It is never okay to step on others to get. Okay, it's never okay. I don't care if you are it's just immoral. It's just immoral. I don't care if they are bad people or they're sinful. I don't care. Okay, if you think they're the worst people, it's never okay to step on others to get hit. Okay, even if they're your like worst enemies, right? It might be forgivable, but it's not okay. You are dedicated and focused on your goals, only rarely getting sidetracked. Agree. I really want to get things done, and only rarely getting sidetracked is kind of not true. I always get sidetracked, not because of myself that I want to, but more because of like things happen, and like it just do be this way, right? Like sometimes shit happens and you gotta fix it. Sometimes you're doing a project, but then this other project that you're working on turns out there's a mistake and you have to fix it, right? And so sometimes, and it happens really often in my line of work, so I get sidetracked a lot. But it's not really comes from me. And I feel like this question is more like, do you sidetrack yourself? And I'm like zero. Like I never sidetrack. I'm very focused when I do things. If you make a mistake and you tend to start doubting yourself or your abilities or your knowledge, disagree. I make mistakes often, and I recognize that, but that doesn't have any effect whatsoever about my ability to do things. Like I'm very sure of what I can do and what I can't do, and so I'm very confident in that. Yeah, so honestly, like for the things that I can't do, even if I don't make mistakes, I'll still doubt myself. So, I'm really certain about what I can and can't do. Basically, I don't have this weird imposter syndrome effect that recently a lot of my friends have been telling me that they experience. I just never experienced this imposter syndrome thing. It's been like there's been like a video that came on YouTube sometime. It just got trendy to talk about, but yeah, I don't really feel imposter syndrome. I'm gonna hop over to Pokey stream and click the channel points really quick. Don't hate me. I'm not simping. I just want to get Pokey stickers for free. I don't even like her streams, to be honest. When at a social event, you really try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. Yeah. Again, I hit parties. If I have to be one, I'm gonna stick with my friends. Usually lose interest in a discussion when it gets philosophical. I disagree. That's when I get most involved in the discussion, when it gets philosophical. Everything else, I'm just kind of, oh meh. You would never let yourself cry in front of others. Oh, this is a tough one. Usually no, I would say this just because I'm a guy. Yeah, I mean, I would never let myself cry, period, most of the time. I've cried sometimes, but only like alone in bed in my pillow or stuff like that. So in front of others, probably not. You feel drawn more to places with a bustling and busy atmosphere than to more quiet and intimate ones. Disagree. I like quiet and intimate places better. I hate crowds, and when there's a lot of things happening, I just hate that because there's just too many things to process, and there's too many things that can go wrong. There's too many unexpected things that could happen. So you like discussing different views and theories. It's just noisy. I hate noise. I hate noise so much. Like I like a quiet places. I like the peace, you know. You like discussing different views and theories on what the world could look like in the future. Agree. I like talking about the future even though it doesn't matter much. I just like thinking about how we could be living on Mars at some point. You know, we could be building spaceships and things like that. It's pretty fun thinking about AI and what robots could do in the future. Hopefully not take over us. When it comes to making life-changing choices, you mostly listen to your heart rather than your head. Mostly, I do listen to my heart. Even though my head is very strongly involved as well, I think like final say, if there's like an even split, heart always gets like what I feel always gets priority. If it's like an even decision. If it's not an even decision, then sometimes it's clear. Either you follow one or the other, whichever's more logical, right? But on an even split, I would say the heart trumps the head. You cannot imagine dedicating yourself to the study of something you cannot see, touch, or experience. Disagree. I always thought of myself being a pastor or like a religious, not a leader, but more like a researcher, like Bible Project, like researching about things like the supernatural, God, things like I really love those kind of things that are not like tangible. Studying non-tangible things, psychology, things like that. Those are really interesting to me. That's why also kind of why I'm taking this test, right? Personalities are something like you can't really test and touch. You usually prefer to get your revenge rather. Disagree. I'm a Christian. I can't. I can't see anything other than a strong disagree on this one. And not that I'm lying. It's actually true. I forgive. Like, I recently got over like a really big betrayal that I had not one time, a long time ago, and I texted this person and I forgave him, and everything's. I wouldn't say everything's great, but like we're on like speaking terms again, so that's great. I guess that's come a long way from where we used to be. You often make decisions on a whim. I wouldn't say a whim, so I would say disagree. I make decisions fast, but definitely not randomly or spontaneously. It's always like thought through, and like I can give you like reasons why I decide things. Like it's not just kind of like I felt like it. It's never like that. The time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying than the time you spend with other people. This is a tough one. Because even though like I'm an introvert, like I also crave like connection with other people. Although generally, I would say other people tend to not be very interesting to me, regardless. Like I try to invest time in them, but like deep down, I know like it's probably not as interesting as what I could have done watching Arcadum on D&D or any of the other streams that I follow. That probably, yeah. Well, I guess it depends on the kind of people as well. Um, Even when I spend time with other people, it's not that I find the other people interesting. It's more that I find the topic that we're talking about interesting, or what we're doing enjoyable, rather than it being interesting in a sense. So I would say strongly disagree. Like, yeah. You often put special effort into interpreting the real meaning of a message or a song or a movie. I feel like there isn't a real meaning of any, like, meaning is kind of, there's no real meaning. Meaning's always interpreted, and it's always, you know, up to, well, I guess there's always I guess the real meaning is, I guess they mean like the author's intentions in the song or movie. And I'm just thinking about Parasite, and like there were like a whole ton of videos that had like, oh, this is the real meaning of Parasite, this is the real meaning of Parasite, and those are all pretty interesting, I would say. Did I put special effort into it? Yeah, I guess I did. I did look into the figurative language behind it, and I'm really into like critiquing what other people interpret things, because there's some things that people are just like jumping into conclusions about. Like there was this whole thing about the rock in the Parasite is fake or something because it floated on the water, but like it can't be, because like people use that rock to clobber someone's head in that movie, and if that was fake, that's clobbering doesn't work. You know what I mean? Plus, when you dropped it on, I think it was the staircase, it made like thudding noises, right? So it had to be a real rock. Like even if it's fake in the sense that it doesn't have any supernatural abilities, it's still real in the sense that it's heavy and it's a rock and it can kill people. So there's things like that, and there were a lot of inconsistencies in people's. There were a lot of plot holes in the movie that I didn't like, but I really liked the whole meaning. Like people did generally get the meaning of Parasite, and I do appreciate like the whole social class thing. And so, yeah, that's something that I really like. You always know exactly what you want. Yes, I know exactly what I want, and I take it not from other people. I get it. I take it, and I take it for myself if it's free. If it's something that someone else wants, someone else has that I want, then I make myself, have the means to get similar things without taking it from other people. You know what I mean? I generally don't envy other people though, because people generally don't have, or don't have what I want in life. I mean, all I want is like fried chicken, right? So, and I get it. It's easy. I got the money to get fried chicken anytime. You really think back on the choices you made and wonder what you could have done differently. This is very similar to the previous question, right? Except this is the opposite. You rarely think back. So I'll say disagree, since I put agree on the first one. When in a public place, you usually stick to quieter and less crowded areas. Yep, this is the same as the previous one. You tend to focus on present realities rather than future possibility. Disagree. I'm more of an optimistic, future risk possible, anything's possible kind of person. Don't get stuck on what's happening. What's happening now is important, but it doesn't dictate what's going to happen in the future. What happens in the future is all up to you. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. Disagree. This one I've already answered before. So when starting work on a project, you prefer to make as many decisions up front as possible. Yeah, planning is important. Like there are projects where like if you don't plan properly, like things can go south really quick, because like everyone's just not clear about expectations and how much work each person should be doing and things like that. So proper planning and everything is pretty good, pretty important, and I would say pretty necessary actually. So it's always good to get those things kind of just squared out and out of the way. When you know someone thinks highly of you, you also wonder how long it will be until they become disappointed in you. No, I don't really care what people think about me, to be honest. It's more about what you think about yourself. Yeah, I really don't really care about what other people think about me, except those who are really close to me, and those are far and few, and they generally have a good impression of me once they know me deep, in a more deeper level. So, you feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. A strong disagree. Even if I find someone pretty, I find it probably even harder to walk up to someone that I'm interested in, than people that I'm not interested in. To be honest, so really hard for me to, especially if I'm attracted to that person, like it's just impossible for me to talk to them. If I'm not attracted to the person, it's a lot easier for me to talk to that person. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe you guys feel that way too. Let me know in the comments. You often drift away into daydreaming about various ideas or scenarios. Yep. All the time. Especially if they lead to nowhere. You look after yourself first and others come in second. Well, this is hard. Generally, I would say yes, because looking after yourself first is most important and others come in second. You know? So generally, I would say yes, you should always look after yourself first. But I feel like the tone of this question feels like I'm more important than others. It's kind of the implication. And that's not true. I think for me, others are more important. Generally because other people generally have more needs than I do. And other people generally have more wants than I do, right? So yes, I'll look after myself first. Well, this is hard. I might have to put this in now. So I agree, look after yourself first. It's important. Others come in second. No, put other people first. That's the way to do things. Put other people first, because that's how the world goes round, right? If other people come in second, then that's. And I know this is like sounding like I'm choosing this because I think it's the right way to do it, but I mean, truthfully, for myself, I do generally put other people's interests above my own, because I do kind of prioritize their needs over my own. And I think I think that's just a nature of who I am. Not so much I think my needs are not important, but more that I just feel I feel like other people are more important to me than I am to myself. Does that make sense? Let me say that again. I feel like other people are more important to me than I am to myself. In the sense that I think that I feel that like I feel and I think that the how do I put this? Other people's interests are more important to me than my own interests are to myself. That's another way to put it. So I don't know if any of you feel that way, but I generally feel that way. So, like, I feel like making other people happy makes me happier than making myself happy. That's how it works. Like, literally, that's one of the secrets that I discovered to happiness was, loving others makes me more happy than loving myself. So, definitely strong disagree there. Even when you have planned a particular daily routine, you usually just end up doing what you feel like at any given. Disagree. I generally stick to my daily plan. I don't always have a daily routine, but I generally stick to it. Your mood can change very. Disagree. My mood rarely changes. Like, unless it's like a huge news or a huge event or like something big, or like something that really like puts a huge clink in the gears or something. Otherwise, I'm usually the same mood. It's just like this. This is my mood, 100 all the time. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence, pretty much all the time. My purpose in life, that's like most important. You talk about your own feelings. No, I don't. I feel a lot, but I rarely talk about it. I talk about a lot about what I think, not so much about what I feel. Not because I'm not in tune with them, but because like I'm not good at talking about them in general. I'm good at processing them, but I'm not good at talking about them. Just the talking part just doesn't work. You've got a detailed education or career development. Yeah, for sure. I've got a good career, and it's definitely gonna last for a while. Maybe 3 years, 5 years, maybe beyond 5 years. It will be a little fishy, but we're getting there. You rarely dwell. And by the way, I am an actuary, so I'm kind of like in a career path that is pretty stable, and I'm thankful that like even in this pandemic, I still have my job, and it's been great. Um, and I don't see myself quitting, or I really like what I do, and I like the people that I work with. So I'm really thankful for that. Yeah. You really dwell on your regrets. Disagree. I always dwell on my regrets, even if I try not to dwell on them. It's just kind of my thing. Can't really help it. Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around quickly makes you feel drained and in need of a, yeah, strongly agree. If there are too many people, all my energy is taken away from me, and I have to kind of recharge, for sure. I get tired really quickly when there are a lot of people around. I just kind of like, I can't handle this anymore. You see yourself as more of a realist than a visionary. Disagree. I'm more of a visionary for sure. I don't really care about what's real. I kind of care more about what things can be, and what could I be in the future? What could I do? What could I do to improve? Things like that. You find it easy to empathize with a person who has gone through something you never have. Agree. I empathize a lot with. Recently, I had a coworker who failed some exams, and I've never failed an exam. At least the actuarial exams, right? And she was just so yeah, like she cried. I just Skyped her and like tried to tell her it's okay, and like when like I've never seen her cry before, and when she cried, like I felt that, like I didn't just feel sad for her, like I felt her sadness in me, like it, like I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of like as if I failed that test, even though I had never. But I felt that emotion, as if it was my own emotion. So I can empathize with anyone. As long as you have sufficient facial expressions, I guess, and are not like a computer voice. You have some kind of human interaction with me, I can probably empathize with you, right? Yeah. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous. No, I'm a consistent guy. I'm kind of like farming kind of person. So like clear, consistent efforts are gonna take you the whole way, and like short bursts are never gonna. It's kind of like life is like a race, right? But it's not like life is not like a sprint. Some people sprint through life, right, and they're over and they're done really quickly. But I don't know. To me, life is more like a marathon, right? You can't burn out in like these short bursts. Like you'll never get anything done. Life is like a marathon, so consistency, keep it going. Stand up when you fall down. That's how you're gonna get through life and get things done. Your emotions control you? No, emotions never control me. I have a lot of emotions, but they don't control what I do by any means. Like just zero. They don't control me at all. I control them. I decide when I'm happy and when I'm sad. I decide when I get to do that. All right. After a long, exhausting week, a fun party. No. I just need some sleep, man. Just give me some sleep. You frequently find yourself wondering how technological advancement could change everyday life. Yeah, for sure. Excited about what Elon Musk is doing. All the time. Tesla's great. Hopefully we can have more of that renewable energy, things like that. You always consider how your actions might affect other people before doing. Yeah, all the time. Always think about other people, guys. when you're doing something, when you're saying something, think about other people might how they might respond to it, because they're important and you should think about other people. So all of the commitments you have made, even if you have a change of yes, and this is very important. I'm a man of my word. So if I say something, and even if I regret saying that, I still keep that commitment. So if I say things, I mean things, and I realize that's not true for a lot of people, and I was very surprised by this. Like, for a lot of people, when they say things, they don't actually mean it. They kind of just say it as a way to be polite, and I've had to learn this as I interact with people, is that like sometimes people just say things because it sounds right or it sounds good or they want to fit in, and they don't really mean it. And that's something that I've had to take to heart, because I've always kept my word. I've always assumed that people did the same thing, but I realize now that they don't. And it's not because they're like evil or they're despicable or they're liars or things like that. It's just because like that's the way they've been taught to communicate in a social setting, and I get that. And so I realize now that like it's not so much of them being not true to their word, but more of them like it's not a contract, so don't bind me to it, you know. But for me, you can hold me to anything I say, all right? And I'm keeping my word. Anything I say, you can, keep to your heart. Like I will follow through. Like I will never make a promise that I don't keep. In general, have I ever broken my promises? Most of them, only promises that I've made to myself, I've broken. That's all I can say. Because those kind of promises, yeah. Only promises that I've made to myself, I will break. But promises I make to other people, I try to keep as much as possible. I rarely feel insecure. So I feel insecure pretty often about like where I am at life. I'm not worried per se, but like I'm insecure about like whether what I'm doing is right, whether I could be doing things that are better. But I'm also like confident that what I'm doing is okay. So like, okay, this is a hard one. Yeah, but the question is, do you rarely feel insecure? Like, are you always sure and always confident of what you do? And I think the answer is no. I generally feel insecure, and I generally need people to check me and back me up. So I'm gonna go with disagree, and I'm going to see my results. Are you ready? Are you ready, everyone, to see what I am? I'm ready too. Let's see. INFJT. Okay. So I'm gonna ignore the T and the A because this is like really close. It's like 49%, 51%, and it was probably because of that insecure thing at the end, and it's way too close to say anything, so I'm not gonna comment on the T, but let's just focus on the INFJ. Alright, and I tried my best to not give any like in the middle answers, so it looks like I got pretty good 90% results. So mind introverted 92%, look at that. Agree. Intuitive 95%, okay, yep, agree. Nature feeling 92%, tactics 100%, judging. Alright, so you guys can see now I'm 100% this group. It's not because I faked it or anything. I actually gave reasons for why I said everything. And the only thing that's kind of weird is this identity thing, which it's kind of 50-50. I don't really know what it means, so I'm just gonna not comment on it, and this result doesn't really show anything. So don't look at the T, but I'm an INFJ. It says I'm an advocate. And start reading. Well, there are a lot of... Oh, I have to click start reading. No thanks, I don't want to... Yeah, it's already recorded, so on YouTube, and it's going to be posted, so here we go. And you can see the date. Yeah, the date today is September the 12th, 2020. I'm an advocate. doesn't matter what the difference is because I'm in the middle of those two. INFJ, A or T. I don't care about A or T, but I'm an INFJ, and it's pretty accurate, right? The swings are 90% for all of those traits. So yeah, and you can. I'm not gonna read this entire thing because it's really long. But if you want to read about my strengths and weaknesses and stuff, you can just go to 16 personalities, INFJ personality, and read that. I've already read this before, probably a couple of times. I think the last time I took this test, I also got INFJ, so I would say I agree with this in general. Yeah, I'm creative and I'm extremely private. I'm a perfectionist. Yeah, why is that a weakness? I feel like, anyway. Romantic relationships. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna explain to my parents why I don't have a girlfriend yet. But basically, when it comes to, yeah, look, I take the process of finding a partner seriously. Okay, I don't like dating. I'm looking for someone to marry, for a life partner, for life. I'm serious about this kind of thing. It's really hard to find that kind of person for an INFJ because it's really hard to find someone that I can really connect with. Like, out of a lot of people in the world, I could probably say like I know less than one person. I probably, yeah. If you ask me to really think about who I really can connect with, I would say far and few, very far between. I'll be really hard pressed to really name anyone, to be fair. And yeah, I'm perfectionistic and I'm picky, and my mom knows that. I'm really picky. About my food, what I eat, about what I like. I like certain fish, and my mom knows that, right? And so, I'm picky, so I'm picky with people too. It's not to say, I guess it might not be a good thing if I don't ever find anyone, but at least it's an explanation. Yeah, but authenticity, don't lie to people, things like that. I want to have a genuine, deep connection. That's important. That's so important to me. And if I can have that with you can have that with online dating and things like that. You can't do that. You just can't do that, right? So, but if I find a person, I'll love them a lot. Like, a lot. Emotional and even spiritual connection. That's so important to me. That's why I always say that if I want to find a partner, they have to be Christian as well. And they don't just have to be any Christian. They have to really love Jesus and really love God and the Bible and God's word and things like that. So it's a way to express their love and to make their partners happy. Yeah, just become one with another in mind, body, and soul. So it has to be someone who really agrees and has the same kind of path that I have in life. So in a nutshell, this is why I don't have a girlfriend yet, because there just isn't a girl that fits all this criteria, right? She has to love God, she has to love me, she has to be graceful, kind, caring, right, and forgiving and things like that. And she also has to be truthful, honest and things like that. So I had a couple of things, right? I had a couple of things. Right, but I think those were the core criteria. And those kind of girls really hard to find. But if you know one, let me know. Hit me up and maybe we can arrange something. So I think that's it. I'm just gonna end on this slide. Thank you for watching my YouTube video. My next video I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but it'll probably be something like this. I'll just be streaming my screen and revealing some new thing about myself. Kind of just using YouTube as a personal blog right now. So yeah, ask me anything if you want to know what I think about something, or if you want to get advice. Feel free to comment down below, because I'm an advocate special, and I'll really love to. I'll be really interested to know what you guys think and about this video, and if you want to see any future things about me or my life or who I am, just comment below. So thanks all of you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. See ya.